And I'm hella young. They call me Zombie Ray.
The next topic we're going to discuss on Boxing Bros has become one of, at least my favorite topics to talk about. Gary Russell Jr. Gary Russell Jr. received the term sheet from Team Haney, and here's what he had to say.
I just wanted to just give everybody an update on what's going on, what the status is. It's business, so we received the term sheet. We finally got a chance to actually get around, get it sent over to our attorneys and everybody else. And I want to say this to Bill Haney. Stop going around here telling people that y'all own boss and that y'all running shit, because y'all not. So get off the phone with Al, and an attorney of mine. And in the first line of the term sheet states that this fight will only take place based upon only if the Zone and Matchroom picks it up. That's a red flag. That's a red flag, because if y'all gonna make a fight, the Zone and Matchroom should have already picked it up, and they should have already been included within the contract, because the Zone is pretty much like this Devin Haney's promoter, and Matchroom is pretty much like the network or whatever that we would be competing on. So how the fuck y'all gonna send me a blank check? That's basically what they did, y'all. They sent me a blank check, y'all. They sent me a term sheet without the network.
All right, so that's that. We're going to share Bill Haney, Devin Haney's dad, response to what Gary Russell had to say.
Lion ass Mr. Gary Russell. You got the audacity to question or not is the Zone and Matchroom behind the fight. You got the audacity to say a term sheet is a contract. Those are the terms of the fight, sir. We tapped you on your shoulder. The Zone and Matchroom didn't. You know we came looking for you, Mr. Russell. And I told you before we got down, I said, hey, if Al's interested in putting up the money for you and you getting a world title, you said Al not interested. He said if they'll put up the money, then you with it. You said you didn't want mine. You said you didn't want DHP money. Yeah, you didn't want that. We told you we got 1.5 million for you personally. We said we got 1.5 million for you personally, brother.
Shades off.
You said you didn't like that.
He pulled a G.
You didn't want to deal with us with terms of the 1.5. So guess what? We found somebody that would agree to your terms. Your terms. But if you with Al, you keep talking about Eddie to talk to you. Why wouldn't Eddie talk to Al? You said the whole thing. You said Al said that it's okay for you to talk to us, to DHP.
All right, that's only so much noise I can take. But basically, Gary Russell Jr. saying that they sent him a term sheet, and the term sheet said if the Zone picks up the fight. And he's saying, like, basically they sent him something like a blank check because it's not guaranteed that the Zone will pick up the fight. And basically in that video, what Devin Haney's dad, Bill Haney, is saying is, we sent you a term sheet so you can agree to the terms so we can present it to match room, and we can present it to the zone and say, we both fighters agree to the terms. Can we have this fight? And they can say, yeah or no. But he's saying, like, you have to have something. And so he's saying, if you want more confirmation, tell him who you want to speak with. Who do you want to speak with so you can know that they're trying to make the fight, is what Bill Haney is saying. And so basically, Trill Dollar Bill, I'm going to send it to you first. What are your thoughts on this?
This mess is crazy. First of all, okay, what I've been saying since the beginning, since Gary been going on his rant once he started with Leo Santa Cruz, Gary just wants to fight. Gary wants to make some money. It's about that time. Gary needs he don't got that much time in this sport, and Gary want to make some money. I'm not mad at it for it, but it's how he's going about it is probably leaving a sour taste in some people's mouths. I didn't like the way he went at Leo Santa Cruz that route, but he did apologize. I seen that apology today. He just put up an apology yesterday because there was some rumor that went around that Leo Santa Cruz father passed, but it wasn't true. But I understand where Gary Russell is. I sympathize for him. I know he wants to fight, but then you got Devin Haney. He called you bluff. You know what I'm saying? See if you was all cap or not. You know? and it's sometimes it seemed like you wanted to fight anybody. You calling out anybody, and he called you bluff because Devin Haney needs a name underneath his belt. Devin needs a name. You want to fight, and Devin needs a name, and they were willing to pull up the money. But then you're not. I don't know if you're second guessing the fight with Devin. I don't know what it is, but listen, they offered you the money, and it's a little bit embarrassing on another way too, like how you did Bill Haney. He's kind of come to you as a man. You know what I'm saying? He thought that it was cool on some brother stuff. We can make this deal happen ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Between us, like we could do business with it just us. You know what I mean? And then present it to them so they can give us the bag. But nah, Gary Russell's going about it a different way, and it's going to cause bad blood. But I think if he really wants to get the money, fight Devin Haney. They're trying to make the fight happen. That's what it sounds like is happening. It sounds like Bill is trying to make the fight happen. He hopped on his son's live, like to explain it to everybody. Like they're really trying to make they was going to go in their own pocket to give him 1.5. That's how bad they're trying to make the fight happen. But they calling Mr. Gary's bluff. That's what it is. What are you going to do now? They called your bluff. What you going to do now? You going to cap your way out of it?
All right, G.
Yeah, man. This is Gary, Mr. Cap Russell Jr. versus Bill Hearn Haney. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll say this, man. Let me backtrack. First, I'll say this. I don't believe either man is ducking one another, right? Devin wants to fight. Gary wants to fight. But I'll say this, and shout out to Fight Hype and Fanon because I got to actually see both sides, and I even seen the clip that they had with one another. So what both men like kind of aren't really saying in these clips, but Bill Haney did highlight a little bit was the fact that Al did not want this fight, meaning Al didn't even want to pick up this fight. And then in the interaction that he had with Russell on Fanon's show, he also said originally DAZN didn't even want the fight. So now we got DAZN saying no, we got PBC saying no, right? So, but I think through the time, what Gary has done through his social media antics was he built up his profile. So then I think they were like, all right, you know what? We're going to repitch this. We're going to repackage this to DAZN. So that's why, hence, they gave him the term sheet, right? Now, Gary knows for a fact, Al said no. So you got to imagine DAZN was going to say no. But I think it changed when Eddie Hearn said that Devin has a November 7th fight date, and that they're looking at two people in particular. They're looking at Gamboa, and they're looking at Gary Russell Jr. So once I heard Eddie say that, I was like, you know what? Maybe Bill is telling the truth. You know what I mean? Where, hey, this is the term sheet. You fill this out. And we're going to pitch it to Matchroom and DAZN, and hopefully it gets picked up, right? And I like to believe it will get picked up because Eddie mentioned his name. So that's why I don't believe either man is ducking. but I could kind of see what Gary's saying. But at the same time, it's like, yo, Gary, you acting like you're new to this. You know what I mean? And so I think Gary was just like, hey, let me just get out there on social media and tell people, like, this ain't a contract, you know? When he knows, like, hey, you know what? This fight isn't as lucrative as Gary Russell is thinking. Like, people didn't want this fight because everybody was thinking, like, who's Gary Russell? Like, I'm going to be honest with y'all. Like, Devin's more popping than Gary Russell. You know, Gary Russell, now that he's utilizing social media, now that he's utilizing YouTube channels and stuff, he's slowly building his buzz up, right? But as of right now, man, it's like, bro, you talking, but like, your name isn't really known in these streets like that. So you're not really gonna generate pay-per-view sales, you know? And so that's why I see both sides, but I don't want to say one is ducking the other. I think these guys just need to wait until Eddie Hearn and DAZN say, hey, you know what, we're gonna pick up this fight. It's a green light go for November 7th. And I'll say this too, please, like Bill Hearn. I said Bill Hearn. I mean Bill Haney. My bad. Yo, take some notes off of Al Heyman's book, bro. You ain't gotta go on social media and try to have these discussions. Like, let Gary Russell be Gary Russell. You know what I mean? But you don't need to do what he's doing. You know what I mean? Like, to be honest with you, like Gary Russell looks desperate. But now I'm looking at Bill Haney, excuse me.
You keep calling him Bill.
Yo, man. But yo,
you know what? I see your point, but what that point is too, you also got to understand. Gary Russell called him out, and he's not a Al Heyman. He called his son out. He's also a father. You know what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying. I like what you said. Like, yo, how come two black fighters can't just negotiate something on their own? I agree. I see what you're saying. However, once one person goes public, that's when you got to know, like, all right, I got an image, I got a brand to look after. You know? And so I don't want to be going on social media looking like I don't know how to conduct business, because then this could affect Devin Haney in the near future. So for Devin Haney's, you know, his image and his brand, yo, fall back. You be like, yo, Gary Russell, we'll talk. You know, when there's no cameras.
He was. Devin gave him his phone and asked him to explain the situation. That was his live.
But again, Devin's a kid, bro. You know what I mean? Sometimes
he's speaking for the business part. I was mad at the way he went at it. I wasn't mad at the fact that he spoke out. I was how he spoke out, how the things that he was saying, going at people's mamas and stuff like that. That was a little, but the fact that he spoke out, I wasn't mad. So he can let people know where clearly what was going on behind the scene. I wasn't mad about that. I was mad about how he presented himself, how he presented his argument. Where, you know, oh, your mama and this and that and the third. I didn't like that. But the fact that he got up there to defend his son's honor, I thought that was honorable. And say that, you know, to speak on it, the integrity on his part, I thought that was cool also. You know what I'm saying? Every promoter's different, you know? We're all different.
Ned?
Man, shame on you, Gary Russell, man. You had me on the hype train for a minute, man. I thought you was about that action, man. And it comes down. I'm thinking Gary saw the numbers this fight. When he caught out Haney, he saw the numbers the fight was going to make, and he was just like, nah, I don't want that. I'm not willing to lose for peanuts. And, you know, now it's showing its true colors. This was all tactics just to get
peanuts for no Gary Russell, bro.
Yeah, that's his big. That'll be a big.
When you got Al Heyman's hands, you got promoters.
He asked for that. He asked for that 1.5, and Devin said, "Hey, I got it for you."
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Oh yeah, let me backtrack too. I forgot to add. Like, according to Bill Haney, the original asking price was too high, so that's why DAZN wasn't interested, and Al Heyman didn't even want to entertain that fight either.
Exactly.
You know, so clearly, whatever Gary was asking for was just too much. So then now this 1.5, I'm assuming DAZN's like, yo, this is doable, you know? Go ahead, man, my bad.
So, I don't know, just the energy Gary had when he first started all his rants talking about, yo, I'll punch TC in the mouth, I'll take TC, I'll go up and wait to see TC. And now he don't even got to do all that to fight Devin Haney. And then he just, like, his whole tone changed in that video. It was just like, man, listen, yo, it's not what it is. He's just backtracking. He's just like soft spoken, things like that. Just like, come on, bro. You gotta keep that energy with everybody. No, you gotta keep that energy with everybody. If you willing to go up in weight, you're willing to stay at weight to do the same damage. And now I'm just like Gary. I'm not with it no more, man.
But is that backpedaling if he's saying like, yo, they didn't send me a contract. They just
They sent them a blank check. That means what's your price? They asked them, what's your price if they sent them a blank check?
No. Nah, he didn't. They don't think they actually send him a blank check. He was just making a metaphor.
He made the wrong metaphor. He didn't mean a blank check because
he didn't mean a blank check.
You associate a blank check with something good, like, oh, you give me a blank check.
That just means like, they could write 1.5, but when you go to cash a check,
basically,
it bounces.
Saying that they sent him a useless document.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like they sent him a document that isn't official. That he could sign it and it wouldn't be a fight if the zone decides we're not picking this fight up.
That's why I'm like, it's not backtracking. You know what I mean? However, why did he go public with this information? Like, wait and let it like pan out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So Gary?
Gary could have just waited. He didn't
that's what I was saying. Gary's been, I don't know. So Gary wants a payday, but then he wants the right payday. You know what I'm saying?
Because it's weird because I know I don't know for a fact, but I believe Gary knows they want that fight. So Gary didn't have to go on social media talking about the term sheet. He didn't have to do that. He could have just been like, all right, I'm going to sign this. Let's see if the zone picks it up. And then if the zone don't pick it up, then go on social media and be like, yo, this dude talking about 1.5, but his panhandlers don't want to give him the bread so we could get this fight on. Then it would have been like, all right, cool. But the fact that you're going on, social media talking about, like, yo, he just gave me a term sheet. I'm just going to keep it real with y'all, implying that Devin doesn't want that fight. That's not cool. And that's why I kind of feel what Trill was saying, and it's the same thing what Bill Haney was saying, was like, yo, we as two black promoters, black families, we could come together and figure this out. We don't need to be bashing each other. So I got that point. But once Gary did that, if I was Bill, I was like, all right, you know what? We just going to fall back, and then let's see if the zone just picks this up.
I'm with you on that.
So for me, for starters, before we start this, we were supposed to try to do this quickly, but of course, in typical Boxing Bros fashion, that doesn't happen. Gary, you have to, for me, I've been backing Gary. I'm saying, yo, TC, if he wants to fight him, fight him. So if TC sent you that term sheet, you were going to say the same thing? A term sheet is exactly what it is. It's a term sheet. Here are the terms. Like G and I, when we were in undergrad, we put on concerts. Like we literally would have artists come to our school and perform, like famous
Trey Songz, Fat Joe. Oh,
yeah. Was
I supposed to name drop? I wasn't supposed to name drop.
You let out
Fat Joe.
But we would have them come to our school and perform. And one thing we would have to negotiate before the concert could ever happen were the terms.
Exactly.
How long were they supposed to be on stage? How many songs? What's all that stuff you have to.
What kind of M&Ms we have to purchase for
they want M&Ms, Jolly Ranchers, black towels, certain types of tea, and whatever.
Water.
Yeah, and then
I forgot
M&Ms.
Lupe Fiasco. Literally, we had Lupe Fiasco come, and homeboy was like, "Yo, I just want one particular color of M&Ms." We had to go to the mall and get like bags of just one color M. I'm like, yo, these dudes is crazy, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Where they do it,
green M&Ms.
Yes, they do it just to make you have to do. So and then they'll come and they'll ask like, "Oh, where them Jolly Ranchers?" and not even eat them. They just want to know the Jolly Ranchers were there. Like, it's crazy. But so you come up with the terms. So for me, this is one of those things where, like, I think everyone needs to stop thinking like someone's trying to get one up and stop trying to negotiate on YouTube and actually really sit down and talk. Gary, if you really felt like that term sheet wasn't what you were looking for, at least it's a step in the right direction. At least they're showing that they're interested. So like Trill just gestured, call them directly and say, my man, the terms look good. Or I don't like this term. Let's switch this. Let's switch that. Like, I really want this fight. Thank you for working with me. Let's do this. Let's make this happen. Let's give the people what they want.
Exactly.
Okay, then you can ask Bill, well, why is this just a term sheet? Why is it not a contract? And Bill could tell you, well, here's my plan. My plan is to show that we really want this. We came to agreement on the terms and everything. All they got to do is just pick up the fight.
On our own.
That's it. You feel me?
And y'all were talking to each other on the phone prior. Why would you have a conversation with a man on the phone, right? And then get on the internet and then talk something else after you get a sheet. And
I've been championing for Gary, but here's what I'm saying. If you guys could work this out on your own and present it to them, they'll probably be impressed. Like, oh, shoot, these guys, okay, check them out. But for someone like Devin, who aspires to be his own boss, who aspires to be like Floyd Mayweather, he wants to get used to doing his own contracts. You could probably learn a thing or two of negotiating your own fight. So, like, for me, it's if you really want to fight Devin, and Devin really wants to fight you, and he sent you that term sheet, what was the worst thing that could happen? The fight not get picked up. That's the worst thing that could happen. But at least y'all try to make it happen. At least the both of you can go on social media and say, we tried to make the fight happen, but it didn't get picked up. And then the fans can be like, pick that shit up, pick that up.
I don't want to see Gamboa break another leg.
Yeah, but unless you try, we don't know. So where I'm at with Gary Russell is like, man, I want you to get the big fights. You want a TC, I want a TC for you. So if you want a TC and you want Devin, they called your bluff, like Trill said. And I don't think it's just that they called your bluff. I think Devin will really step in the ring and take that fight. And I think it's a great fight for the both of them. So if y'all really want to make the fight happen, make it happen. But stop negotiating on YouTube every 5 minutes. Brothers, we got to get past this, man, if we're ever going to get anywhere.
For real. Stop going live and just pick up the phone. Let us know what you think. Please like and subscribe. Check us out on Instagram and Twitter. You know what's up with Facebook. And check out our podcast on all major streaming services. We are the Boxing Bros.
Catch me creeping down the dark street. This is where me and the zombies meet. Guarantee we all gonna eat. It's Zombie Ray again with HD. I'm a zombie in the night, you better run from me. Zombie Ray in the house, you better run, homie. Brought a mask and some gloves with some thugs with me. I came to do damage, you wanna purge with me. Super Saiyan zombie, I'll be